gets it, spins away, baseline shot. Shai puts it in and walks it off in OKC. Giddy keeps it himself and takes it up as he glides with the finger roll.
What is up, and welcome to the Uncontested Podcast, Postgame edition. I'm your host for the night, Jacob Niffen, as the Thunder lose to the Sacramento Kings, breaking a 4-game win streak, 113 to 118. We are proudly part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and dailythunder.com. If you don't already, be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. If you're watching the stream tonight, hopefully you see got some new artwork behind me, courtesy of our girl 7A. Nane is incredible. And if you missed on the Twitter account tonight, I'm going to move my camera down just a little bit. We've got these new J-Dub shirts in. J-Dub in his bag, winning Rookie of the Month. They are beautiful. Nane put them together for us. Be on the lookout this weekend as we have a special podcast dropping with Nane, the artist known as 7A Perspective on Twitter and Instagram. You see all of her cartoons after every Thunder game. She is awesome. It was a blast to get to talk to her. So we're going to drop a special podcast episode where I got to interview her. Be on the lookout for that. But that's enough plugs. Make sure to go buy the shirt. They're sick. And this shirt is like the most comfy shirt I've ever worn in my life. It's incredible. I freaking love it. The Thunder lose to the Sacramento Kings in not the prettiest game in the world. 118 to 113, as I mentioned. I've got some big takeaways, and then we're going to dive into a little bit of a game summary, and then I'll expand on these takeaways. So those takeaways are, number 1, costly free throws. 2, beat up inside. 3, SGA. 4, Killer Keegan. And 5, bench woes. So those are our 5 big takeaways. But before we dive deep into those takeaways, let's do a little summary of this game. I know it's late tonight. This is almost a midnight podcast, but I still got people in the chat. So if you guys got questions, drop them. I will definitely answer as we go through the show. So this game starts. The Thunder announced their starting lineup with the normal 4 that I think are just your starters moving forward for the rest of this season. For next season, I think next season you're going to have a pretty solidified starting 5 with Shai, Josh, Dort, Dub, and then Chet. This season, that 5 spot is kind of a revolving door, especially with all the injuries the Thunder have. So Jay Will gets to start tonight as Domantas Sabonis was cleared to play. He was questionable earlier in the day with a non-COVID illness, but he was healthy enough to play, and boy, did that man play. I love Domantas Sabonis. I really fell in love with him in his OKC years, and I think he's just gotten better and better and better. The man is such a good offensive player. It's really, really impressive. But so let's get into the actual basketball. Thunder start off looking very strong. I think they were up 8-0 to start this game. Just came out of the gates, guns blazing. Shai really had it going early. The defense, one of my notes from the first quarter says the defense looked okay, but Jay Will's inability to switch may cause problems. And that note was sparked by a possession by the Kings early where Domantas Sabonis had the ball at the top of the key and ran a dribble handoff with who was it that he ran that handoff with? I think it was Kevin Huerter. And the Thunder tried to go over the screen. It took too long to get back to Huerter, and Jay Will didn't step up on the shot and just dropped, and it led to a Huerter open 3 that missed. But my thought when I saw that was, man, if Jay Will can't step up to the level of the screen and contest that jumper, and the Kings are just going to get open dribble handoff jumpers all night, this could be a long night. I thought Jay Will actually played very good defense tonight, especially one-on-one against Domantas Sabonis. We'll get to that later. But so I said the defense looked okay early. Dort was awesome early. We'll talk more about Dort here in a bit as well. They finished the quarter with a lineup of what I called Shai and the shooters. It was Shai, Isaiah Joe, Lindy Waters, Trey Mann, Mike Muscala, I think was the lineup. And at the end of the first quarter, Thunder are down 1. We head into the second quarter where Dort was still playing great. My note in all caps says Joe's shooting changes this offense. Isaiah Joe is, I mean, Kevin Durant played on this team, so you can't say the best shooter in Thunder history. But holy crap, can that dude shoot the absolute piss out of the ball? It is incredible how good of a shooter he is. Every time it leaves his hand, I think it's going in. I wrote down Thunder hitting threes and feels like the Kings are missing wide open ones. It really felt in that second quarter that the J-Dub, Josh Giddey chemistry was just continuing to click. I love it when those two share the court together. They really play well off of each other. Shai really got it going to end the first half. And at the end of the first half, I noted that Sacramento was winning the rebound battle, the second chance battle, and the scoring inside, whereas the Thunder were shooting 57% from three. OKC's halftime adjustment that I thought that they should really focus on was gang rebounding, hitting the glass. I thought they really needed to win the rebounding battle in the second half to win the game because it felt like I think the Sacramento Kings were 4 of 19 from three at half. And that just felt so low, it was unsustainable. And the Thunder's 57% felt so high, it was unsustainable. So he thought both those numbers were going to slip back to the means. And that meant that the Thunder had to do the dirty work and rebound. So third quarter comes. OKC gives up an early 8-0 run to the Kings. Shai responds by 4 quick points of his own. The OKC defense, I thought, was really good to start that third quarter. This is when I first noted that free throws started to become an issue. I noted also that Muscala was having a rough night. We're going to talk about the bench. I mentioned bench woes as one of my 5 takeaways. We'll hit that in a moment. I also put down that it feels like Shai should have had like 3 or 4 and ones in that third quarter. Was getting to his mid-range spot. Guys were being very physical with him. He was hitting jumpers, falling to the ground, and just not getting any whistles. And like I noted at halftime, the Kings started to hit those open threes. At the end of the third quarter, Sacramento was plus 16 in rebounds and plus 15 in free throw attempts. Felt like the Thunder really had to capitalize and win those 2 battles in the fourth quarter in order to have a chance at this game. Early in the fourth, Kenrich Williams actually gets fouled. The Thunder go to the free throw line in the fourth quarter for free throws 6 and 7 of the game. He misses both. It's very strange to me that Kenrich is knocked down from pretty much anywhere. You want him to hit a free throw line jumper against his own defense? Cool. You reverse the basketball and find him open on the wing for a 3 during an offensive possession. He'll rattle it in. But you put that man at the free throw line with no defense in front of him, and he misses free throws. It's very, very strange. I just don't really get it. It's weird. I noted that J-Dub and Josh Giddey's chemistry just continues to grow. Mark Daigneault has really started whenever Shai sits to play Dub and Giddey together, and they've just been really, really good. I think they're both really high IQ players. They really like finding the cutters and playing off of each other. There was a play where J-Dub drove the lane, went up, and as soon as he was in the air, Josh's man had rotated, and so he just dropped off a little pass to Josh for a very easy layup. Just those types of plays just continue to happen, and it's really pretty. The Thunder decided to play small as Sabonis came back in, putting Kenrich Williams on him. 2 possessions in, they got murdered on the offensive glass. I think the Kings got 3 offensive rebounds on 1 possession, ended with a bucket. Thunder called timeout, immediately put Jay Will back in. They play that way for a while until Luguentz Dort fouls out. After that, they go with Kenrich Williams at the 5 against Sabonis. They bring Isaiah Joe back into the game. And it just felt like lots of things down the stretch didn't go OKC's way. They missed some really good looks, played great defense, but couldn't close it out with a defensive rebound. Everything kind of just not going their way down the stretch. And then the game got real funky at the end. It felt like it was going to end up being a 10-point game. And then the Thunder are down 6 and get a steal off of a full court press. Isaiah Joe steps into a 3, pulls it, and misses. That would have cut it to 3 with about 15 seconds left. The Thunder were still down 6 after De'Aaron Fox misses 2 free throws. They force a Kevin Huerter out of bounds on the sideline, and Josh Giddey throws this insane inbounds pass to a curling Isaiah Joe into the top elbow. That's where I'm trying to go with, the opposite elbow. Joe catches it and fires from three, makes it a 3-point game with about 4 seconds left. The Thunder cannot get a steal. The Kings get a dunk, and it ends as a 5-point game, 113-118. So overall, like not the worst loss in the world. Like the Kings are playing really good basketball. They're third in the West. They've been great. They're at home where they've played really well. I thought the Thunder fought magnificently, just couldn't close it out. It felt like the Kings just kept them at an arm's length all night long. The Thunder, that entire second half, would get it to 2 or 3, like a one possession game, and then it'd go back to 5 or 6, then 2 or 3, then 5 or 6, back and forth. It felt like the Thunder would hit a big 3, and then the Kings came down and hit their own 3. And the Thunder could just never climb over that last little hump to get there. Results in a loss. So let's talk about my 5 big takeaways. Number 1 was costly free throws. So looking at the box score here, let's go to the team stats. The free throw discrepancy. The Thunder shoot 7 of 11. The Kings shoot 24 of 28. So that is plus 17 for the Kings in attempts. That is, I'm not good at math, plus 17 for the Kings in makes. 17 more free throws in a 5-point game is massive. Do I think the Kings earned 28 free throws? Yeah, probably so. I mean, the Thunder did foul a lot. They were playing much smaller. Domantas Sabonis is a handful to deal with. But on the other end, it just felt like the Thunder were not getting to the line at all, and it wasn't for a lack of aggressiveness. The Thunder did take 43 pointers. I think it's fair to note, like, when you take a lot of threes, you're not attacking the basket as much. The Thunder had 93 field goal attempts tonight. 40 of those were threes. So that means they took 53 shots inside the 3-point line for twos, and then they took 40 shots outside for threes. The Kings shot 86 shots tonight, and where's their number? 38 of them were from the 3-point line. So the Kings actually took less twos than OKC, but shot 17 more free throws. You just can't let that happen. You have to force the whistle. Thunder shoot 11 free throws tonight. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander averages 10.4 a game. Right? So, like, typically Shai shoots 11 on his own, and then the rest of the team gets like 7 or 8. They only got to 11 tonight, and that is, I feel like, a very massive stat in a 5-point game. I'm not saying that the officials like had it out for Oklahoma City and we're only giving the Sacramento Kings foul calls or anything like that. The Thunder have to be more aggressive getting to the basket. They have to be more physical. But this game felt a lot like the second Memphis game of the year in Memphis, where it was a really close game. The Thunder lost, and the free throw discrepancy was just massive. That's what this felt like. So it is what it is, but free throws were a major player in this game. My next big takeaway is beat up inside. So actually, when you look at points in the paint, it's 50-44 in favor of OKC. Where the Thunder got beat up inside was the rebounds. 36 rebounds for the Thunder, 52 rebounds for the Kings. So again, I'm not great at math, but I believe that's a plus 16 on the glass. The Kings had 12 offensive boards to the Thunder's 8. I don't have second chance points pulled up here. I do know at halftime, second chance points were 9-0 in favor of the Kings, and it had to have ended a bigger discrepancy than that. Surprisingly, the Thunder have done really well against bigs and good bigs since all their bigs have been injured. They've been living with Jay Will, who is a rookie and taken in the second round, and Kenrich Williams playing center for them. Darius Baisley over the stretch has got some minutes. They've gone up against teams that have elite bigs like Miles Turner and Joel Embiid and Nikola Vucevic, and they've done a really good job. Tonight felt like the first night in a while that a big man just beat the piss out of the Thunder. And shout out to Domantas Sabonis because he was incredible tonight. His stats: 5 of 9 from the field, 8 of 8 from the free throw line, 13 boards, 14 assists, and 18 points. Like, that is an absurd stat line. He just had his way inside. Just a little bit too big of a bruiser for Oklahoma City. And about halfway through this game, I started to think, man, this would have been a great matchup for JRE. JRE's a little undersized, so is Sabonis. Sabonis is like, 6'9", 6'10", something like that. JRE is like 6'8", but that thick body, being able to play physical, I think tonight would have been a great matchup for JRE. Real bummer that he's been out so long. He must have rolled the crap out of that ankle, folks. There has to be like a minor ligament tear in there or something because he has been out for a while. It's looking like Ousmane Dieng will be back before JRE is. Ousmane Dieng, by the way, if you missed the news today, assigned to the G League, which means if they're assigning him to the G League, he's probably going down for some practice, which means his wrist is doing better and maybe he'll make a return relatively soon. Fingers crossed. I would love to see him back before the All-Star break. But the Thunder get beat up on the inside. Second chance points and rebounds, I thought was another just massive story in this game. Free throws and rebounds. Plus 17 in free throws for the Kings, plus 16 in rebounds. You're not going to win too many basketball games when that happens. Let's take a break about bad things and talk about good things. Like Shai freaking Gilgeous-Alexander. Where should the freaking go? Should the freaking go between the Gilgeous and the Alexander or between the first name and the last name? If you're talking about me, you would say Jacob freaking Niffen. But I think with Shai, you would say Shai Gilgeous freaking Alexander. I don't know. Hit me up. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know where to put the F-bomb in Shai's name because it's weird and it's a hyphenated last name. Test in the chat says both. Shai freaking Gilgeous freaking Alexander. I love it. Shai tonight, just an absurd stat line. He goes, surprisingly, he's a minus 10. Played 38 minutes, 16 of 23 from the field. Insanely efficient. He went 2 of 3 from 3. You love to see that. Only 4 free throw attempts is wild. 1 rebound, 7 assists, 2 steals, no turnovers. 37 points on 23 shots, and he only took 4 free throws. I mean, that is the epitome of efficiency, folks. That's insane. I mean, he just put on a show. He got into the lane. He got exactly what he wanted. The little midi pull-up was absolute money. And I mean, and the ones that he missed, there were some bunnies that just didn't go in. He had one where he got Sabonis up in the air and went up and under and went with the left hand and just smoked it. Favorite play of the night by Shai, though, by far, was just bringing the ball up the court, blowing by everybody, and then dunking all over Chimezie Metu. I don't know where that came from. He got off the floor fast, like fast. And Shai has become more of like a 2-footed jumper, 2-handed dunker, kind of like a power dunker in a way. I love it. He's been incredible, man. I worry that he's not going to be an all-star starter. If you don't know the way starting works in the All-Star game, 50% of choosing starters is the fan vote, where Shai is number 4. 25% is the media vote, and 25% is the player vote. So if Shai was number 1 in guards in the West and media vote, number 1 with players with media with player vote, and then number 4 in fan vote, I think he still misses out on the starters. He'll be on the All-Star team. There's no doubt about it. Like, if he misses the All-Star game, something's wrong. Something's rigged. It's kind of like, what was that? The Oscars or whatever, whenever they announced the wrong movie. It's going to be something like that. He's making the All-Star game. I would argue, I feel really confident he's making the All-NBA team. I don't know if he's going to get the starter. I believe they announce starters next Thursday, so we will see then. I don't know if he's going to make the starters, though. I think the starters might just be Steph and Luka. Sucks because I think Shai deserves it. He's played way more than Steph has, but Steph is Steph. All right, let's go on to takeaway number 4. Killer Keegan. Shout out to Keegan Murray, man. Got drafted 4th overall. A lot of people shit all over the Kings for taking him 4th because they thought the Kings should have gone with Jaden Ivey instead. But Keegan goes 4th. Maybe had a little bit of a slow start to the season, but Keegan plays 37 minutes tonight. Goes 10 of 12 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3, including hitting 3 threes in the 4th quarter. That just kind of broke the Thunder's back. The Thunder were scratching and clawing and trying to keep themselves in this game. And Keegan Murray was just splashing. I think he had Isaiah Joe on him for a while until the Thunder brought Josh back and put some more size on him. But just an insanely efficient night for Keegan Murray. This man had 29 points, 14 rebounds. He was a plus 10. That is a game high plus 10 for Keegan Murray. Really great night for the rookie. I feel like a lot of nights the Thunder have the best rookie on the floor with J-Dub. I think if the Thunder had Chet healthy, he'd still be the best rookie on the floor. But tonight, Keegan was the best rookie on the floor. Not really debatable. Keegan was really, really good. He's been really, really good. He stays really, really good. Just some impressive stuff by the young man. Shout out to him. He played great, and I think he is a big reason in that 4th quarter why the Kings were able to keep the Thunder just at enough of a length to win the game. Lastly, and I want to get kind of deep into this one, the bench woes. So when we look at the Thunder bench tonight, there are 5 guys who got minutes. Lindy Waters, Kenrich Williams, Mike Muscala, Trey Mann, and Isaiah Joe. When we look at the minutes distribution there, Joe got 29 minutes, the most off of the bench. He actually played more than one of the starters, Jalen Williams, Jay Will, if you will. Kenrich Williams played 26 minutes. Muscala, 11. Trey Mann and Lindy Waters, 7 apiece. Trey Mann did not see any second half minutes. He had 1 7-minute stretch to close the first and to start the second, never came back. I noted it tonight whenever I was tweeting from the podcast Twitter account. Trey, it's been a weird year. I thought Trey started the year well, got injured, came back and struggled, kind of fell out of the rotation, went to the G League Showcase, played out of his mind in the G League Showcase, came back and just had that swagger. I mean, he was just dripping with swag. He felt like super confident. And then now it feels like we've ridden that wave and we're on the backside, and he's not confident at all. The past 2 games, it feels like Trey catches the ball in rhythm from 3 and just hesitates and stands there and then tries to drive and like get to his floater game or drive and kick, or he'll make a move. He'll get open for 3. He'll stand there for a second and then he'll swing it. Just like he's lost all confidence. I don't know why he doesn't just shoot the ball. That is his one great NBA skill. He just won't shoot it. So I'm not sure. I think that's part of the reason why he only got 7 minutes tonight. Just a real lack of assertiveness from Trey. There's a reason why Isaiah Joe's logging 29 minutes and Trey, is logging 7. Because Isaiah Joe in 29 minutes launches 13 shots, 12 of those being 3. He goes 7 of 12 from the 3-point line. Isaiah Joe had 21. But the bench woes overall. So Trey Mann is a big one. And I know Taylor mentioned this on his post game after the Pacers game. Taylor and I had talked about this before that podcast that he did. Trey, so if we have to make a tier of Thunder players who might not make it because the Thunder have a draft pick coming in, they have a ton of assets to trade. In 2024, they have 4 firsts. I don't think they're bringing in 4 rookies, but they're going to have to start trading picks and players and moving things around. Trey is starting to climb that list of guys who might not make it on the Thunder and get moved. I think Trey has a lot of upside. I love Trey's game, but when you just start to look at everything, like the Thunder have Dort, Giddey, Shai, Isaiah Joe is starting to show out. J-Dub has been doing ball handling duties. Like Trey Mann might be the odd man out there, and he's had a very underwhelming sophomore year. I thought that he would be awesome this year. I was really excited. It's just been a struggle for Trey. But the bench as a whole, when you look at bench scoring, Lindy Waters, 0 on 0 of 1. Kenrich Williams, 3 on 1 of 8. Mike Muscala, 3 on 1 of 5. Trey Mann, 2 on 1 of 2. So I'm going to do some math real quick. That is 3 out of 16 for 4 of the 5 bench guys. And then Isaiah Joe goes 7 to 13. So you're fine with that. He was super efficient. 21 points on 13 shots and 0 free throws. 6 rebounds for Isaiah Joe. He scraps a lot. He has been awesome. But the rest of the bench just gave you a bunch of nothing. I'm kind of surprised Aaron Wiggins didn't get some run tonight whenever they pulled Trey Mann out of the rotation. But just the bench really struggled. The bench, including Isaiah Joe, scored 21, 23, 26, 29 points. And then you look at the starters, it's 15, 15, 37, 13, and 4. The bench just didn't come through for the OKC Thunder tonight, and that is not typical. Typically, between Kenrich and Mike Muscala, you're good for 20 points there. They scored 6 on 2 of 11 shooting. So bit of an off night for the bench. Hopefully they can recover and come back and play good against Denver Sunday night. That was my last main takeaway. Player of the game tonight obviously goes to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Dude was insane. So good. It's a blast to watch him play. He is just he's so difficult to guard. It's going to be awesome to watch him at the All-Star game, to see who drafts him of the 2 captains, which are probably going to be LeBron and KD. Kind of want KD to take him. I think that'd be kind of a fun story. KD taking the OKC kid. It'd be pretty cool. So I think that's all for me, guys. Not a lot of questions in the chat tonight. Kieran says Tony Brothers is the worst head ref in the league. And he also says the defense looked very slow in their rotations. I felt that way as well. Tristan mentions that Isaiah Joe missed 3 that I had talked about that would have cut the game to 3 with like 15 seconds left. Felt like a big one. Kieran says he went to high school with Kevin Huerter. Interesting. Tess says, I feel like the second half we had Mike and Kenny shooting 3s early in the clock. We were getting looks that were great, but I wish we would have fed Joe more and had more movement generally. Luis, random question, but where did you get those pictures behind you? Thanks for the question, Luis. Our girl Nane, she is 7A Perspective on Twitter, does a little Thunder drawing, a little Thunder cartoon after every game. She is incredible. And she let me print off a couple of her pictures and get them framed for the pod. Again, I'm plugging again. Check out the shirt. We got the J-Dub Rookie of the Month shirts available. I don't think I mentioned at the beginning of the show, all the proceeds from the J-Dub shirts are going to Positive Tomorrows. If you're unfamiliar, Positive Tomorrows is a nonprofit in OKC. It is an elementary school, so K through 6, for the homeless community in Oklahoma City. So kids that are experiencing homelessness, who live at the homeless shelter, or have found themselves in a difficult situation, they get to attend the Positive Tomorrow School, which is an awesome absolutely Me and my students donated some money to them last year, and actually not money, but some holiday gifts. I absolutely love what they do over there. So if you buy the shirt, not only are you getting some sick drip and a super comfy shirt that's got J-Dub on it, but we're also donating all the proceeds to a great cause. So you got double reason to buy one. Go hit it up on Cotton Bureau. Anything else? Meek Leak asks question. Are we being treated unfairly by the refs, or are we just fouling too much? I think, Meek, that is just a portion of being young. Sometimes they're not specifically seeking out contact. I don't think it's they're being treated unfairly by the refs. I think young teams just foul a lot on defense and don't know really how to draw fouls on offense, especially with the Thunder playing small. When you play small, you tend to foul more. I mean, it's very obvious you lack size if you're smaller. But that's a big when you are smaller than the other team, you tend to be more physical, and being more physical defensively and pushing and grabbing and fighting for rebounds will typically get more fouls called on you. So I don't feel like the free throws that the Kings got tonight were unjustified. I did feel like the Thunder deserved to get more whistles than they did, if that makes sense. I don't think the Kings should have got less, but I do think the Thunder should have gotten more. That's all for in the chat. So thank you guys so much for hopping on. So I'm surprised we had so many people in the live stream at midnight on a Friday after a loss. But I absolutely love it. Thank you guys so much. I had a lot of the regulars in here tonight, some new folks that I haven't seen in the chat. So thank you guys for checking out the Uncontested. We will be back with you Sunday night, maybe a little bit later. Typically Sunday, we always do 9 p.m. Central Time. But Thunder versus Nuggets tips off, I believe, at 7 Central, which means it'll get over about 9:30. As soon as Thunder versus Nuggets concludes, we will be live on here for our weekly show where we will break down that Nuggets game and just do some general Thunder talk. That's our big roundup night. So be sure to join us. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us so you get that little notification whenever we go live. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back with you Sunday night. Until then, as always, Thunder up.